Meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. The first order of business is a suspension of the rules. Mr. Poehler is not in person. He is online. We need a motion to allow the vice president to preside over the meeting.
So wait. Go ahead. Second.
Okay. Mr. Bates moves and okay. I was trying to figure out who did what because we had so many people speaking. And Mr. Probst has the second. All in favor, please show by putting your right hand. Oh, can't do that.
No, you have to.
I have to do a roll.
You have to do all votes by roll.
I have to do a roll call. Mr. Bates.
Aye.
Mr. Walker is not online. Mr. Probst.
Aye.
Ms. Gardner.
Aye.
Mr. King. Aye. Mr. Poehler.
Aye.
Mr. St. John.
Aye.
Monica.
Aye.
And I also vote aye. So it's 8-0. So we'll suspend the rules and I'll preside over the meeting. First, the next item of business is approval of minutes from June 13th, 2022.
So
A motion
second.
and a second. Mr. Bates.
Aye.
Mr. Walker still not here. Mr. Probst.
Aye.
Ms. Gardner.
Aye.
Mr. King. Aye. Mr. Poehler.
Aye.
Mr. St. John.
Aye.
Monica.
Aye.
And I also vote aye. So minutes are approved. Are there any special requests or continuances from the audience? Seeing none. There's no old business. Is there any old business from the floor? Again, seeing none. New business. First item is civil zoning violations warning ticket. And I think our presenter, our very own Mr. Nelson.
Well, thank you guys for joining me for kind of a brief meeting, but it's important that we get these out and approved so we can be using the correct forms with our planning department. Right now, we are going to be voting on the warning form and the citation form. They look very similar. To go over, I don't think my keyboard has the range. I will be going to the mic.
Best lady.
So this is flexible.
Well, it goes with the lights earlier.
I thought I touched the screen. Sure. This is our old form that we've been using. The old form has outdated zoning citations on it. So we have been customizing using the option for other. It is also in Access database, which is an older database that the city used to do to keep track of its zoning violations. Now we've moved most everything over to CityWorks and we track it there. So currently we're duplicating our tracking where we have an Access database that we also copy over into CityWorks. A couple of the changes, we have changed the unique number that we identify each warning or citation with. It'll be PCV, the year, and then 3 digits. Each one of these will be unique to the case that it's on. We've also changed property owner to violator because it may not be the property owner that is causing the violation. It could be a tenant or a contractor, just to name a couple examples. And then the third thing we're changing, it had you appear before the clerk to deny the violation. That is incorrect. To conform to our unified development standards, it should come to the planning director. So we've added language in there, taken out some of the outdated language. This is what our new form looks like, and these are the areas in red that text will go. It is blank on the ones I passed out. But in CityWorks, we're able to add a section, reference, and a description. So there could be multiple violations on one property. They could all be listed here. It also has the name and address, as well as the name of staff member who performed the research and sent out the violation. And then this is the back side of it. So it is a 2-pager now, but we print on both back and front. And number 2 is the text that was edited to be current with our Unified Development Ordinance. These are essentially the same form for the warning and the citations. The difference would be the status of the form. It goes from a warning, first violation, second violation, third violation, and so forth. Any questions? That's all.
So you need a motion to approve and adopt the warning citation form as presented by the planning director. We also need a similar one for the citation.
He asked for questions. Are there any comments? Or
Well, I didn't know if we would be able to do that. No, I had a few, and I guess just to jog my memory, could you give me some examples, maybe the different zones that would be a violation?
Yeah, so we actually have quite a wide variety of violations that we do. It could be an illegal business, such as a home occupation that has multiple vehicles, maybe a more intense commercial use that's being operated out of a home. It could be a sign violation. That would include signs without permits, unsafe signs. Could be an illegal exchange of zone. If you're illegally turning a commercial office into a residential and it is in a commercial zone, that would be a zoning violation. We do have paving requirements. So if someone is expanding gravel that is not grandfathered, that could be a zoning violation. Even owning livestock in a more residential area that is not permitted, that would be a zoning violation.
anybody else?
I have a question about fine due. Is there different costs for violations, or are they all the same?
Yeah, so there are 3 different costs. The warning has no cost for it. The first violation is $50. Second violation is $75, and the third violation is $100. That $100 violation would repeat if there were additional violations after the third. With these are set by our city municipal code.
And so they add up. So the first one's 50, the second one's 75, and the third's 100. You just add them up as they occur.
Correct. Each one would be a separate fee, and those fees are paid to our clerk.
So a violator could run up a bill, and then you have to pay the balance.
Yes. Yep. Sometimes that happens where they won't pay for a long period of time. They may come in all at once to pay off multiple fines.
I see. Thank you.
And I have one additional question. When you get to file, when the violator gets the first notice, how much time does he have to be able to correct that violation?
Yeah, so the warning, we ask for a response within 10 days, 10 business days or 14 days, basically 2 weeks for them to address it. And then once the first fee is sent, it's 72 hours upon receipt to notify us of an appeal or to resolve the violation, pay the fee. Just would need some type of notice within 72 hours.
Again, business hours, not counting Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, we have, I believe it just says 10 days, but we've gone for the 2-week leniency to include weekends since we're not in the office.
You may have already said this.
how get that violator gets the notice and see what it is that statute is violation. They contact planning department, someone there, it says, you know, I'm so and so. And so what I see here, I'm compliant now, and somebody that comes out that will verify that, or is that the case?
Yeah, so staff does work with each violation case. It can oftentimes be a time-consuming process where we are individually working with the violator to make sure they're coming into compliance with our Unified Development Ordinance. Sometimes it is a quick process and they will remove their car or take down a sign, and it happens pretty quickly. Other times, in some instances where the violation may take longer to resolve, staff is there to monitor and work with them. If they are showing effort towards compliance and working towards that, we will work with the violator through the process.
And I assume a big portion of that would be from the code enforcement department.
Code does coordinate with planning, but planning staff does do the violations for chapter 10 for the zoning chapter.
So that also who a citizen could call this in, say so-and-so, that check out so-and-so, I believe that they might be a violation.
Yes, we frequently get calls throughout the week. Throughout the week, we get 3 or 4 calls. We investigate each of those calls, driving out, taking photos from the public right of way, doing our research online as well to make sure we are confident that what was communicated to us by someone who's made a complaint is true. And then at that time, we would start the warning process and the violation process.
You do that through the mail, obviously. I guess that would that be priority mail or?
We do certified mail.
Certified.
And we also quite frequently will have to post on site because people will refuse their certified mail. So a lot of times it is multiple staff trips to photograph the violation and also to drive out to the site to post the violation on the site.
How many staff do we have dedicated to do that? Field staff, which you say 2, 4, whatever the case. Can that vary from day to day?
It can vary from day to day. Right now, we have 2 full-time planners, 1 part-time planner, and myself. It's typically been 1 planner and myself that work on violation cases, since we do have other things that we specialize in, but everyone is familiar with the process.
So just a final question, I think. So typically this kind of ebbs and flows, and maybe it's more like you mentioned earlier about summer. There seem to be more violations during the summer that be like things where people don't cut their grass if it's 12 inches or more, et cetera, et cetera.
That one does fall under code enforcement, but we do see an increase in the summer. I would say that would be with people attempting home projects. If we do see more RV storage in areas that are not permitted, people doing construction, adding gravel to their lots. We do see more signage as well. Just a lot of things that happen with construction activity and with people being outside and doing more of the summer jobs and activities. Saw some fireworks season right now.
Let's start a fire.
Are there any more questions or any more comments? Seeing none, we'll accept a motion for the civil zoning violation warning ticket.
There's nothing special.
Nothing special.
Move to adopt it.
Second.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Ms. Gardner. Roll call. Mr. Bates.
Aye.
Again, Mr. Walker is not here. Mr. Probst.
Aye.
Ms. Gardner.
Aye.
Mr. King.
Aye.
Mr. Polar.
Aye.
Mr. St. John.
Aye.
Monica.
Aye.
I am aye as well. Motion passes 8-0.
Now, was that a motion just to adopt the warning citation? form?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
warning, not citation, warning.
Yeah, we were thinking these should be two separate.
Yes, they should be. I'll make sure that's clear.
That's what I thought I heard. So
Yes. Mr. Nelson, you have something for us for the civil zoning violations for citation for that?
I have no further presentation than I gave with the presentation I just did. It is similar to the warning. It would come after the warning. Staff has to re-photograph, re-prove that the violation still exists before we can send out that warning. We prove that there is a receipt of the warning in some way, and then we go forward with the violation.
You go through the steps if necessary.
Correct.
Okay. Are there any questions?
What's the ultimate fine or whatever the case may be before we have to say, you know, you're in contempt of law or whatever the case may be?
Typically, we will run through the violation process to that third violation and then possibly a fourth or a fifth. But if there is no action being taken for opposition to that, it will eventually be forwarded to the legal department for them to handle. At that point, staff will work with our legal department.
And I guess that could lead to a lien on the property, if it's a property in question, violator that's
No.
It not only, Sean might be better equipped to answer this question.
No, statute doesn't provide that unpaid fines and penalties for zoning violations become liens on the property. So what we do is, if we get a judgment, then we have to actually go all the way through, and we actually take it to court, and we get a judgment, then it could become a judgment lien by statute. But the lien, but the fines themselves don't become a lien unless we take it through and we have a judgment that like process it is. And if fines do not work, under the law, we can go ask for injunctive relief. Just because they have fines and they paid fines, if they keep violating it, we can go and file a complaint and say, these people have been fined multiple times and they still keep violating it. So if fines do not work, we will ask for injunctive relief that the court will order them to stop. And then that's a permanent restraining order. If it's violated, they're in contempt. We can haul them in for a contempt hearing. Yeah.
county level, circuit court, county level.
We typically do those in the county, but we can do them in city court.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll take a motion for the civil zoning violations and citation form.
Mr. President, I'll move, or Mr. Vice President, I'll move that civil zoning violation citation form be accepted.
Motion by Mr. Polar. Second. Second by Mr. King. Roll call, Mr. Bates.
Aye.
Mr. Walker still not here. Mr. Probst.
Aye.
Ms. Gardner.
Aye.
Mr. King.
Aye.
Mr. Polar.
Aye.
Mr. St. John.
Aye.
Monica.
Aye.
I also say aye. So this motion passes 8-0.
Thanks for the presentation.
No problem.
Bad for a new planning director, huh? Is there any new business from the floor from the large audience? Seeing none.
Speak up.
Are there any announcements?
We will have items for the July 11th. Doesn't look like it may be a busier meeting, but we'll do our best to run it efficiently and get it done.
See, Mr. Polar, will you be back for that meeting?
I will not. I asked earlier about protocol on that, and I'll still be out of town, so I'll be doing remotely at that point.
Okay. So we'll do a suspension, ask for a suspension of the rules again next time.
All right.
I can't promise a 20-minute meeting next time. Is there one more motion?
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you.